Hi everyone, I would like to share my ideas about organs of speech. So before we go into the video, let I introduce myself. I am Dr. R. Magdalene Diana, Assistant Professor of English, Bishop Heber College, Trichy. Organs of speech. So what is meant by organs of speech? So organs of speech, the various organs of our mouth we use to produce sounds are called organs of speech or speech organs. Speech organs or articulators it produce the sounds of the language. The study of speech sounds is essentially important for getting the particular and fundamental idea about producing speech sounds. So the various organs work in different ways to produce speech sounds. Functions of organs of speech. So before we go into the topic, first we can see classification of organs of speech. So famous philologist David Crystal divides the articulators into two different ways. So one is active articulators and another one is passive articulators. So active articulators, it does most of the movement when a speech sound is made. So usually it uses the lower lip or a part of the tongue. So because the tongue and the lower lip or lower jaw are free moving, that is called as the active articulators. Then passive articulators, it works part, it does very little and it does not have a movement, and it is the part of the place of articulation where the active articulator presses against. So usually the upper jaw and the upper teeth, roof of the mouth or the pharynx. So these are the passive articulators. Now we are going to see functions of organs of speech. So these organs of speech are described under three systems. So first one is the respiratory system, the second one is the phonatory system, the third one is articulatory system. The respiratory system, it comprises the lungs, the muscles of the chest and the windpipe. The role of the respiratory system is to producing the speech sounds. How? The out of the flowing air stream initiated by the lungs, and it is used for speech protection. The lungs, it performs the action of breathing or respiration. It is inhalation or exhalation. So the airflow is by far the most vital requirement for producing speech sound. All speech sounds are made with some movement of air. The lungs provide the energy source for the airflow. The lungs are the spongy respiratory organs. So it was situated inside the rib cage. They expand and contract as we breathe in the air, as we breathe in and out air. The amount of air accumulated inside our lungs, it controls the pressure of the airflow. Muscles of the chest is also comes under the respiratory system. The lungs is the main part of that respiratory system. The next, the phonatory system. This system consists of the larynx and the vocal cords. The air stream released by the lungs and comes up through the windpipe. So that is called as the phonatory system. And the muscles, it protects as well as the houses of trachea and also the vocal cords. The larynx is also known as the voice box. It is a box like small structure. It is situated in the front of the throat. And for this reason, the larynx is popularly called as the Adam's apple. This casing is formed of cartilages and the muscles. It protects as well as the houses of trachea and also the vocal folds. The vocal folds, the vocal cords, are like a pair of lips placed horizontally from front to back. They are joined in the front, but it can be separated at the back. So this is called as the vocal cords and also the larynx. Articulatory system. This system refers to the vocal tracts through which the air stream ends at the mouth or nose before it escapes into the atmosphere. So pharynx, soft palate, hard palate, teeth ridge, tongue, lips, then glottis, etc. So these speech organs make the articulatory system together. The lips. The lips is also plays an important role in the matter of articulation. They can be pressed together and brought into contact with the teeth. The consonant sounds which are articulated by touching two lips each other are called bilabial sounds. So for example, p and b are bilabial sounds in English, whereas the sounds which are produced with the lip to tip teeth contact are called labiodental sounds. So another important thing about these lips that they can take different shapes and positions. Therefore, lip rounding is considered as a major criterion for describing the vowel sounds. The lips may have the following positions also. Many positions are there: rounded, spread, neutral. So rounded, when we pronounce a vowel, our lips can be rounded, a position where the corners of the lips brought towards each other and the lips are pushed forward. So the resulting vowel from this position is a rounded one. And then spread. The lips can be spread. In this position, the lips are moved away from each other. That is when we smile. For example, in English, E sound, it is a long vowel. So with slightly spread lips, the last one is neutral. Lips can be neutral. The position of the lips are not noticeably rounded or spread. So you can use this neutral lips in the vowel sound. It is in a long vowel sound. The teeth. The teeth is also very much helpful in producing various speech sounds. The sounds which are made with the tongue touching the teeth are called the dental sounds. So the examples are the sounds. So certain sounds are produced with the help of the teeth. Alveolar ridge or the teeth ridge. So the alveolar ridge is situated immediately after the upper front teeth. So it is located just behind the upper front teeth, and the consonantal sounds like t, d sounds are produced here. For your information, I gave some examples to you, so you can find out the examples for your better understanding. The hard palate is the concave part of the roof of the mouth. So it is situated on the middle part of the roof. It is a hard bony surface of the roof of the mouth. So immediately after the alveolar ridge. So it is not movable one. The soft palate. The lower part of the roof of the mouth is called soft palate. So when it is lowered, the air stream from the lungs has access to the nasal cavity. So when it is raised, the passage of the nasal cavity is blocked. For example, k and g. The tongue. The tongue is an important organ of speech. It is divided into four parts: the tip, the blade, the front and the back. The number of vowels is produced with the help of the tongue. So the tip of the tongue helps to produce some consonant sounds, that is t, d, j, etc. So for these sounds we need the help of the tongue. The blade of the tongue helps to produce some sounds, that is sh, j, f. So for these sounds we need the blade of the tongue. The next one is the front of the tongue. It helps to produce the palatal sounds, j, and the back of the tongue helps to produce k, g sounds. So the tongue is the important organ of a speech, right? The pharynx is like a tube which begins just above the larynx. It is about 7 centimeter long in women and about 8 centimeter in men. And at its the top end, it is divided into two. One part being the back of the mouth and the other being the beginning of the way through the nasal cavity. Glottis. So the glottis, where it forms? Let me see that. The vocal folds are like a pair of lips placed horizontally from front to back. They joined in front, but it can be separated at the back, that we know in previous slide itself. The opening gap, the opening between them is called the glottis. The glottis is considered to be the open state when the folds are apart and the folds are pressed together. The glottis is considered to be in the closed state. So for example, I give you matter, butter. So these sounds comes the opening space, that is called as a glottis. The nasal cavity is a large air-filled space above and behind the nose in middle of the face. The main function of the nasal cavity is to act as the main passageway for the airflow entering the lungs. The nasal cavity also filters the incoming air, regulates temperature and humidifies the nasal passage to aid the filtering function. That is the function of the nasal cavity. That's all my presentation. I hope now you can have a clear idea about organs of speech. Thank you, dear students.